Welcome to the second hour of Wake Up America Weekend. I'm Sarah Williamson.
And I'm Michael Grimm. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your morning with us. It's been nearly a month now since the terrorist group Hamas attacked Israel. And now new developments from the Biden administration. A senior Biden administration official telling the Associated Press, under condition of anonymity, that the U.S. believes the fighting will need to take a fairly significant pause to allow the release of hostages, modeled on a similar situation last month that allowed 2 American hostages to be freed.
Now, meanwhile, in his first public speech since the war began, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah said that his group has entered the battle. Friday, Israeli Defense Forces striked ambulances near the Gaza hospital, saying that Hamas was using them. Now, correspondent Emily Schrader is live in Tel Aviv again with us for the latest. Emily?
Right. So as you stated, the response from Israelis when it comes to Hassan Nasrallah's speech in Lebanon is rather unconcerned. We have been seeing pretty continuous rocket fire and mortar shelling from Hezbollah on the northern border. Now, in response, as recently as 20 minutes ago, we saw that the IDF has really upped the attacks in response to Hezbollah outposts in southern Lebanon. So that fighting is ongoing. We do expect that that will continue and potentially could escalate. However, based on the statements of Nasrallah, it doesn't seem that they are really interested in going full scale into a war with Israel the same way that we're seeing Hamas. However, we have to remember that the people who are pulling the strings when it comes to both of these terrorist organizations on the northern border and in the border with Gaza is the Islamic Republic of Iran. That is the financial sponsor. It is who is providing weapons and resources to both of these terrorist organizations, as well as others who we have seen interact in this conflict, such as the Houthis in Yemen, another Iranian proxy terror group who has fired rockets multiple times now at Israel and has even formally declared war. Now, that being said, they're not even close to the same level of threat that Hezbollah and Hamas pose to Israelis and Israeli civilians. But that being said, it does show Iran's intent to escalate this conflict. Now, when it comes to what's happening on the ground in Gaza, we have seen quite a few incidents in recent days that have received some international criticism. As you mentioned, the United States has stated they believe there should be a humanitarian truce in order to assist the Gaza civilian population. Now, while it's important to protect the civilian population, which was why we have seen the IDF drop leaflets before bombing, we know they've spent 3 weeks trying to convince Gaza civilians to leave northern Gaza for southern Gaza. And unfortunately, what we've seen in response is that Hamas has, in some cases, even opened fire on Gazan civilians seeking to leave northern Gaza to shelter in southern Gaza. So the terrorist organization Hamas is working against their own population. And one more example really quickly to demonstrate that. Yesterday, an Egyptian official stated that the Hamas has submitted a list of foreign nationals and injured civilians who have permission to cross into Egypt via the Rafah crossing. Now, upon further examination, that Egyptian official stated that approximately 1/3 of that entire list were actually known Hamas terrorists. So Hamas is putting their own terrorists ahead of the interests of their own people in more ways than one. And this is something we have to remember when it comes to the question mark of who is Israel targeting when we see an airstrike on an ambulance next to a hospital. And the answer, unfortunately, is that Hamas is committing a war crime by using ambulances, by using schools in some cases, by using mosques in order to store weapons and to put up command and control centers for Hamas terrorists.
Emily Schrader, thank you again for that update. We appreciate having you on.
Thank you.
And for more